If someone took away my law firm and told me I had to start over today from zero, from scratch in 2026, I wouldn't panic. But I would build it differently than I did 10 years ago back in 2016. I'd make fewer mistakes, spend less money, and probably be more profitable a lot sooner than I was 10 years ago. I'm Darcel Lobo, a solo attorney who teaches you how to open and build a successful law firm. Let's get into me showing you exactly what I would do if I was starting all over again. First, I need to get clear on my practice areas. I wouldn't want to be a general practitioner. I don't like more than 2 or 3 practice areas for my solos, but I probably wouldn't just have one practice area. I probably would do what I did, which was doing estate planning and probate, residential real estate, and then bankruptcy. Now, for you, when picking your practice areas, you want to make sure that if one of your practice areas can be market driven, like my bankruptcy practice was, that you have something that's more stable and more consistent. That way you have something to balance out the highs and lows of a market-driven practice. So something that's kind of tried and true, going to stay consistent no matter what happens in the market. This can be estate planning, this could be family law, this could be criminal law. There's a number of practice areas that have a consistency to them. If you're going to pick just one practice area, especially if it's something big like criminal law or like personal injury, you want to start thinking about who the person is that you're talking to, what the issue is, what the problem is. So of course, as like a PI attorney, you're going to want to help anyone that has a personal injury claim. But even for a PI attorney, they usually kind of niche down a little bit more than that. So think about your practice areas as a whole, whether you have 1, 2, or 3. Don't have more than 3 when you first start as a solo. But within those, think about who is the ideal client, who is the target person that you are talking to when thinking about your practice areas, what you do, and again, who you're going to be helping. Now, this next one we talk about all the time on this channel, and it is your referrals and growing your referral base, growing your network, growing the people that you know and that will send clients to you. I will be focused on this before even day 1 of my law firm being open. Who are those potential referral sources? And don't overlook them. Like, you never know where business can come from, but you do know certain people who come into contact with who your ideal client is. You want to figure out who those are, and I would start building those relationships immediately and growing those from, again, before I even open my law firm. So for my bankruptcy practice, there would be probably mortgage brokers, right? People who are coming in contact with my clients. Real estate agents actually has been a big one for bankruptcy referrals. For estate planning, you're talking about CPAs, financial planners, tax advisors, retirement planners, like anyone that is talking to your client about an issue related to what you can help with. And so figure out what that practice area is and then who those clients are talking to. And that is your referral network. And you should have some kind of spreadsheet tracker of this. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. It doesn't have to be fancy. It could be a Word document. It's something that you're tracking who is in your, not just referral network, but just network as a whole, whether or not you think clients could come from them. There should easily be 100 people on this contact list, and you may not think of a lot of people that you communicate with on a regular basis as being potential referral sources, but they are. So start by going through your phone, people that you know, even as people that you haven't talked to in 3 months, 6 months, 8, maybe it's been years since you've talked to a person. They should still go on that list of contacts for potential referral sources because, again, you never know where the business may come from, and you want to position yourself to be where your clients are when they have a problem that you can help with. So we're going to make this not client contact list, but like a referral contact list for you to kind of start building out. Who are the people that I should be talking to? I would do that before even day 1 of my law firm being open. Next is another one we talked about many times on this channel, is keeping your overhead low. On this channel, I've talked about actually how I opened my law firm for under $2,500. This was a number of years ago, but I'll make sure I have that link down below for you. And I think it still holds true to this day. And this was pre-COVID when I had I still have a brick and mortar office. So many of my solos don't even have a brick and mortar. But even if you do, we want to keep overhead low. You don't need a fancy office. You should be able to sublease from maybe another attorney that has a complementary practice area, or some other service professional that you can just rent a room from and that you have access to a conference room for if you need a brick and mortar office. If you don't need a brick and mortar office, then your overhead will be even lower significantly. You really have bare minimum expenses. It does not take very much money to open a law firm. Just like the actual opening of a law firm, you don't need much money at all, right? You need a laptop, you need some internet, you need to form your entity, you need some malpractice insurance, you need some pens, you need some notepads. But if we're talking bare minimum to get a law firm open, you don't need a lot. You need hardly anything at all. And I always tell you, you add on once you have revenue coming in to support adding those things on. So you don't need fancy practice management software. You don't need all those bells and whistles when you first go out on your own. And that's what I did when I went out on my own, is that I had very low overhead. I've told you, for like tracking my clients, I didn't have CRM. I didn't have no My Case or Clio or anything. I had a whiteboard and I had like a Word document where I was tracking things. I also used that. I shouldn't even like admit this. I don't want to encourage this, but I used that for tracking my profit and loss statements. For my first year, I didn't have a bookkeeper. I didn't really bother to learn QuickBooks. And it was just money coming in and money going out. It wasn't that complicated. I didn't have staff. I didn't have a bunch of expenses. So it was pretty simple. Now, after that first year, I got a bookkeeper real quick to kind of handle everything, because it was getting more and more advanced as I had, again, just more revenue, more expenses. But to get started, you don't need a lot. So don't spend a bunch of money opening as though you're this established law firm. Like, get your law firm open, spend as little as possible. Don't go into debt opening your law firm. And then as you build it, as you have revenue, as you have clients, then you will start adding on and having more expenses as you have the revenue coming in to support those expenses. And remember, like, you're going out on your own, primarily, I'm going to say for all of you, for time and money. Like, that's what it boils down to. And if for your time, you want flexibility, you want freedom, this is why you're going out on your own. You shouldn't be blowing a bunch of money on overhead that you don't have the revenue coming in to support. Keep it lean and then add more as you go. Next, we have systems. You know I am all about systems. Now, my systems are not perfect, right? They're always being tweaked and revised as we go, as our needs change. But before day one of opening my law firm, you can be assured that I would have some systems in place. Again, these would not be set in stone. They would change as my needs change, my clients' needs change. But from anything like engagement agreements, intake processes, calendar, how I do billing, how I manage my files, how I want the phones answered, like all these things would have a process. And as I do now, and as I did 10 years ago also, I would have like a manual of how these things are to be done. You don't want to be trying to figure it out on the fly after day one of having your law firm open, or when you have your first new hire, when you hire that first assistant, because that day is going to come where you're going to be busy enough for you to need help. You don't want at that point in time be trying to figure out how to teach your new legal assistant how to open a file, how to answer the phone. You should have already done that before you opened your law firm, so you can be assured that I would do that when opening my law firm if I was starting from scratch all over again. I would have these systems in place before day one of opening my law firm. And then again, I would revise and tweak as I go, as needs changed, but I would have something in place because I would know that for myself, and I know that for you, once you go out on your own, that there is going to be a day where I would be too busy to do those things. And there's going to be a day for you where you're too busy to do those things. So before you open your law firm, when you have time, because right now you probably have some more time than you will once you open your law firm. So get these processes, get them documented, get them out of your head. It can't just be in your head how you want your phone answered. That has to be written out as a procedure for how to answer phones, how to open files, how to do intake, how to schedule consultations. All these things need to get out of your head and onto paper. Okay, and next we talked about like networking and referral sources, and this kind of goes alongside of that, but having some kind of marketing plan. Now again, I'm all about going lean when you open your law firm. So I'm not talking about spending thousands of dollars on marketing, on AdWords and Google ads. If you have that money to throw at it, great. But I didn't. And I'm going to assume for most of you, you don't either. And so I would spend a lot of my time figuring out what my marketing plan is going to be. A big component of that is going to be my referral, my network, having that contact list, and maintaining contact with people. That's going to be a big chunk of that. But also, like, I would be doing things like this, making content, answering the questions that my clients are asking. So whatever your practice area is, what are the questions that your clients are asking? If you don't know, we've got a bit of a bigger problem here. You need to be able to figure that out. If you can only figure out a few questions, you're not sure, you just kind of need something to kind of help get the juices flowing and figure out what the questions are, I would suggest going to answerthepublic.com. It is a free website. You can type in like a question or a topic, and it'll give you like the ranked questions that people are asking online about that very topic, about that very question. And so that'll give you easily 50 pieces of content or 50 topics for content. And if you're going to do, blogs or short form video or social media posts or long form videos, like that's going to give you a whole lot of ideas, a whole lot of topics to make content on. I would be doing that from the jump. Again, before day one, I would figure out, okay, what am I going to do for creating content? Because I would be making content for my law firm for day one if I was starting out in 2026. So I would try to figure out, okay, like, what am I going to do? Is it going to be YouTube? Is it going to be Facebook? Like, where are my clients going? And for a lot of you, especially if you have a consumer type practice, if you're looking to trying to figure out, okay, what social media should I use? It's probably going to be Facebook. And I don't like Facebook. I'm not a Facebook like user, like personally. I have a profile, I think because I have to have a business profile. But like, that's where my clients are. That's where those neighborhood groups are that are asking questions for getting a will done, for probate, for real estate questions. Like, that's where they are. So if you have a consumer type practice, probably Facebook is where you need to be to create your profile, start, posting, and not just to say like, contact me to get your will done. Like, that's not really the approach. It should be more like you offering value, you offering tips, answering FAQs, joining your local neighborhood groups, and offering value where you can, right? Providing, suggestions or advice. So you start to be seen as the go-to person. If you're going to write blogs, I would be doing that. So I do that for my law firm. So I would make sure I have a library of that in place before day one of opening my law firm. I would make sure that, having the website built out, things like that. Like, I would make sure I have those boxes checked before even day one. But it does not stop there. Like, you don't create it once and set it and forget it. Like, I've had my law firm's website for 10 years now. Every year, I am reviewing and updating and tweaking the website. So it's not set it and forget it. All these things are things that you have to do on a reoccurring basis. And that's where it comes back to remembering that, like, yes, you're a lawyer, but once you open your law firm, or while you're building to open your law firm, like, you're a business owner first. Being a business owner comes far before being a lawyer. Okay. And I also like being like the best lawyer is not what's going to ensure that you're going to win. Being the lawyer that people know, that's how you win. And that's why building those relationships and having those connections are so crucial to your law firm. And your law firm, like, is eat what you kill. It is all on you. There is no boss or managing partner feeding you work at a firm. Like, it is all on you. So you have to make sure that you are going out to events, meeting people, following up. Even if you're an introvert like I am, you still have to push yourself to do the uncomfortable things. If you're going to be a law firm owner, and if you're going to have a successful law firm, you're going to have to get comfortable being uncomfortable doing the things that you may not want to do, but you know that you need to do for the sake of your business. And lastly, as far as like things I would do in a marketing plan, it's something that I did not do when I went out in 2016 and I still have not done 10 years later, but I know it would be a good idea if I did do it, would be to create an email list where I'm sending out, some kind of newsletter, email, whether it's, once a month or quarterly, and building that email list. If I had been doing that for the past 10 years, I would have thousands and thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people on that email list. If you think about 10 years of clients, plus, besides just clients, consultations, your referral contacts, I could have such an amazing email list. I did not do it. I still have not done it. I know it's a good idea. If you're trying to decide if you should do it or not, the answer is yes. I need to do it. I'll get around to it. Maybe it hasn't been super high on my priority list because, again, I've done the work of building my referral network, of building my, contacts and my network. And so the business comes in. I've been doing this for 17 years, right? I've been in training for 17 years. I've been solo for 10 of those years. So I've done the work. I planted those seeds for the past 17 years. So, but something to do if you're just starting out, highly recommend. It'd be a great use of your time and resources to create that email list. I want to make sure to kind of talk about content some more because I know for a lot of lawyers, they don't want to make content. They're uncomfortable. They don't want to be on video, whatever the issues or concerns may be. But remember that making content is not about you. For me, I hate the sound of my voice. I hate it. But I've never once had a viewer be like, oh, I really don't like the sound of your voice. It's me who doesn't like it, right? We don't like how we look on camera. We don't like how we stand on camera. We don't like how, whatever it may be, right? But for the viewer, for the potential client, you're providing value and service and you are developing that know, and trust factor before they've ever called your office and scheduled a consultation. And for a lot of our clients, especially for consumer-facing clients, we might be the first time they've ever had to call a lawyer. And for a lot of our clients, they're calling a lawyer because something bad has happened in their life, right? If you're doing criminal law, if you're doing immigration work, if you're doing bankruptcy work, right? Family law work, a lot of times, things aren't going well, right? So they already have the stress of the thing not going well, whatever that may be. Okay. And then you add the notion of they have to reach out to a lawyer, which seems intimidating, right? Seems kind of scary to reach out to a lawyer to get help to solve this problem, right? The notion of hiring a lawyer is scary. It's going to be expensive. It's just all these things that are attached to hiring a lawyer and having to reach out to a lawyer. So of course your clients are going to be online, especially nowadays, right? Trying to figure out what they can online and getting some good information and some bad information, right? But if you can be out there answering their questions, they see you, you're local to them, okay? And you're answering these questions and they're hearing your voice and seeing how you talk and seeing your mannerisms. And it humanizes you as a lawyer. It makes you more like a real person. So when I'm doing my estate planning for a client, right? And they've been putting off getting their will or trust done probably for 5 years, 10 years, if not longer. Putting it off, it's been on the back burner. They finally want to get it done. Being able to see me, online, making videos, answering questions about wills, about trust, about power of attorneys, about directives, about the probate process, about all these things, they feel like they've already have gotten to know me. They've already decided that they want to work with me. So this potential client who would normally be a cold lead, because let me tell you, there are many, many lawyers in my neighborhood who do what I do, right? I have a whole lot of what would be competition, but the way I've structured my practice, they're not really competition. There's lawyers on the same block as me who do what I do. And they're not competition because I have done the hard, and I don't say that to be from an ego perspective. It's just, I know that I have put in the work. I know that when somebody has watched one of my videos, they probably have watched 5 or 10 of my videos. They've gone to my website. They've seen 10 years worth of blogs. They see that I have 60 something amazing Google reviews, right? They see that I'm an active participant in our community, that I serve on my Chamber of Commerce, that I have kids in our school district, right? That I am kind of more of like a real person and not just like a lawyer. I'm not some stuffy, grumpy lawyer that's, like, no, like I'm just Darcel. But I'm here and I can help you solve your problem, whatever the problem may be. So by the time that they come in, it's kind of help kind of like bring their guard down or kind of break that wall down where they feel like they kind of have already gotten to know me before I've even talked to them. And that's been the biggest thing about doing video content, whether it's for you as a lawyer who want to go out on your own and you're looking for someone to help you build your law firm. Like, maybe you've watched a few of my videos. For my law firm channel, people, again, like they've gotten to see me and hear me and see that I know what I'm talking about. And they can decide if I'm someone that they want to work with. For some people, I'm not going to be the right fit. Great. They can self-qualify and decide to not even call my office. Like, we don't need to waste time with the consultation if you already know that you don't want to work with me, right? Versus the clients who do want to work with me, they would have been a cold lead, but now they're a warm or a hot lead because I have done all of this legwork over the past number of years for them to be comfortable in their vote of confidence in working with me over any other attorney down the road, right? Clients will drive an hour, if not more in some circumstances, to come work with me and come see me because they feel like they've already gotten to know me and I'm the lawyer they want to work with. They've already decided that. Whereas if there's just 10 law firms on the first page of Google results, how are they going to decide who to go with? If it's not someone that's referred to them, if they're just cold trying to find a lawyer, there's a lot of us out there, right? So whatever you can do as a solo to differentiate yourself, to show why they should pick you, why they should hire you, why they should trust you to help them solve their problem. Like, I believe you should do it. And that's what I do. And don't worry that if you like put out a video and it has 10 views and 2 likes, like that's fine. It's not about the stats. It's not about the numbers. You're not trying, well, maybe you are, but like for most of my law firm owners, they're not trying to become YouTubers, right? They're not trying to make money on YouTube. They're out here providing value to potential clients who have an issue that they can help with. And so even now I've been doing videos for 4 or 5 years for my law firm website. I only have 2,000 subscribers on that channel. Like, I am like the definition of a micro channel. And I will do videos that'll get 100 views, 200 views. I've had some bigger hits, but like even now also get videos that have low views. But I'll tell you what, I am so niche in what I'm talking about that those 100, 200 viewers are Washington State residents who need to get an estate plan done, right? And so I don't need thousands and thousands of views. If one video brings me 5 new clients, the ROI on that is amazing, right? And so like my piece of YouTube, like I'm so niche in what I talk about versus every other YouTuber. It's like I'm not competing with them. I'm talking to a very specific person with the videos I make for my law firm's YouTube channel. And for this channel also, like if you're here, it's because you're a lawyer who wants to open or improve your law firm, right? Like, yes, I'm a small channel, but like I'm talking to a very specific audience. So don't worry about having small numbers, not a lot of engagement, not, a lot of likes. Like those are just vanity metrics. Like that's not what you're looking for. You're looking at how can you help your potential client? How can you build that know, like, and trust factor? How can you build a relationship before they even talk to you so that by the time they contact your office for a consultation, they want to work with you? Okay, enough on that. Like, let's move on. Let's keep going. Next, I'd make sure I was tracking numbers from day one. Not just like, do I feel busy or do I feel like it's slow? Is the phone ringing, not ringing? Like I would track that information. Like how many calls, how many consultations, where did they come from? You want to know like your conversion rate from your consultations, how many people are actually becoming clients? Like by actually collecting that data that's going to help you improve from the business side of running your law firm. So make sure you're tracking those metrics and know your numbers, and also know like what does it actually cost you to run your law firm? What is the overhead? What is the minimum revenue you actually need to bring into your firm every month? So many lawyers will just say, oh, I want to bring in, my solos, right? 20 grand a month, 25 grand a month. Well, what does it cost you to run your law firm? They don't know. Like, you need to know what it actually costs to run your law firm. You need to know what your revenue needs to be so you can pay yourself what you want to be paid, plus pay your overhead, plus pay any staff that you have. Like, you need to know these numbers. And then, how can you set goals for how much revenue you want to make in a quarter or in a year if you don't know what the numbers are? You don't know what you've been making so far. You don't know what your expenses are so far. Like, you need to know these things. So day one, like, I mean it, like that first month that you open your law firm, even if you only have 2 clients that month, you better know where they come from. And besides how many clients you had, how many consults did you have? How many leads did you have? Like, you need to track this so you can make sure you are performing better and better in your law firm from the business perspective. As a business owner, that is the mindset shift that we are going to have when we open our own law firm. That we're not just lawyering. We are running a business, and you need to know your numbers. The next one is more like, this is not going to be a day one thing, but you want to keep this in mind, because the reason why you're going out on your own is because you want control over your time. That's a big one, right? We also want the revenue, but we want to control our time. And so in going out on your own, you want to make sure you're not creating just like another job for yourself, but that you actually are designing your law firm in a way that complements your life and how you want to live with the hours you want to work. Now, I say this might be hard on like day one, because for that first, few months, like, you are really going hard because it is all on you. It is sink or swim. And if your law firm is not successful, that is your fault. If you don't have any revenue coming in, that is also your fault. So those first few months of you just like going really hard in your law firm, it's going to be harder to maybe look at protecting your time and the flexibility and those things. But we want to make sure we keep that in mind. And I share with you how I manage my calendar. I run my law firm about 25 hours per week. But like, I've been doing this for 10 years as a solo, 17 years in total. So don't compare your day one to my year 17. That is not fair. But I want to give you something to aspire to and look at something that you can create for yourself, and to do so a lot quicker than me, right? Like, it took me and I went on my own in 2016. It took me a good kind of 2 years to kind of find how I can run my law firm in less hours, be efficient, still be profitable, like how to juggle all those things. And I want to help you do that sooner. But just know that day one, month one, the first quarter of your law firm, you're probably going to be working more hours than you want to, because you're getting it up and off the ground. You're getting it running. And that's okay. But we want to keep our eye on what the prize is for us, right? And what we actually want in going out on our own, and the why behind why you went out on your own. Like, for me, when I went out on my own, I had 2 small kids, my family, and I was trying to figure out, how do I juggle all those things? And so going out on my own was a solution for that. I wanted to show up for my family as a mom and as a spouse, but then also have the fulfilling career that I had worked so hard to build, right? I went straight from high school to college to law school. I graduated law school when I was 25. I was a licensed attorney, right? And so I wanted to figure out, how can I have the career I wanted, but also have the personal life that I wanted? And in going out on my own and those first few years, kind of figuring out what I want and what's important to me, and what is Darcel like, right? That always kind of got left behind. And so figuring those things out, being a solo truly allowed me the opportunity to do that. Whereas I wouldn't have had that ability had I been working for somebody else all this time. I wouldn't be able to be here talking to you about how to go out on your own and how to do so for yourself, and to have a fulfilling career, and to have what you desire and to go after it and to believe in yourself to go after it. Like, I wouldn't be able to do that if I hadn't done it for myself. And so make sure that you are remembering why you're going out on your own and keeping that at the forefront when you are making decisions in your business and in your law firm. So all this to say, like, if I had to start over again, if I lost my law firm and had to start all over from ground zero and reopen in 2026, I could do it. No problem. 10 years ago, that version of me wasn't sure if I knew how to do it. Wasn't sure if I could do it. Now, I know I could without hesitation. And I would be, more profitable faster than I was the first go round. I've had a lot of lessons that I've learned along the way. And so this go round, I would do a lot of the same things. I would do some things differently that I've learned over the years. And I would do it a lot smarter. And so that's what you get the benefit of me being here, is that you get to learn the lessons that weren't taught to me 10 years ago when I was figuring this out. So I want to be able to be here to kind of share that with you, help give you kind of the tips and the insights and help you on your journey of owning your own law firm for whatever reason you decided to go on your own. So if you're planning to go out on your own, or you're in the first few years to be on your own, or maybe you've been a solo for 10 years like me, and you just want some more inspiration and tips and advice on how to manage your solo law firm, make sure you stick around, make sure you subscribe. I would love to have you join us here, and I'll see you in the next video.